You know him as one of the Beatles, the man who wrote songs that changed the world forever. But what you might not know is that Paul McCartney has built a fortune so massive, so incredibly huge, that when his family thinks about it, they can't help but cry. And no, we're not talking about tears of sadness. We're talking about tears of pure emotion, gratitude, and sometimes even disbelief at what this legendary musician has accomplished. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible wealth of Paul McCartney, and trust me, the numbers will blow your mind. Imagine being so successful that even your grandchildren's grandchildren would never have to worry about money. That's the reality Paul McCartney has created. But this isn't just a story about money. It's a story about talent, smart decisions, hard work, and a man who never stopped believing in himself even when the world told him his best days were behind him. So sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey through one of the most amazing financial success stories in music history. Let's start with the big number. Paul McCartney's net worth is estimated to be around $1.2 billion. Yes, you heard that right. Billion with a B. To put that in perspective, if you spent $1,000 every single day, it would take you over 3,000 years to spend all of Paul's money. That's absolutely insane when you think about it. But here's what makes this even more incredible. Paul didn't inherit this money. He didn't win the lottery. He earned every single penny through his music, his business decisions, and his pure talent. Now you might be wondering, how does a musician, even one as famous as Paul McCartney, become a billionaire? Well, that's where the story gets really interesting. You see, most musicians make their money from selling albums and performing concerts. And yes, Paul has made tons of money doing exactly that. But what sets him apart is something that most people don't even think about. It's called music publishing rights. And it's the secret weapon that turned Paul from a millionaire into a billionaire. Let me explain this in a way that's easy to understand. Every song has two parts. There's the recording, which is what you hear on the radio or on Spotify, but there's also the composition, which is the actual song itself, the notes and the words. Whoever owns the composition gets paid every single time that song is played anywhere in the world. On the radio, in a movie, in a commercial, at a wedding, in a store, everywhere. And Paul McCartney owns the rights to many of his own songs, which means every time someone plays a Beatles song or one of his solo hits, he gets paid. But here's where it gets even better. Paul doesn't just own his own music. Over the years, he's been smart enough to buy the rights to thousands of other songs too. Songs by other famous artists, classic hits that play on the radio every single day. Can you imagine owning a song that plays in every grocery store, every restaurant, every radio station around the world? That's passive income on a level most people can't even dream about. While Paul is sleeping, eating dinner, or spending time with his family, money is flowing into his bank account from songs playing all over the planet. The Beatles' catalog alone is worth an absolute fortune. Think about it. Songs like Hey Jude, Let It Be, Yesterday, Come Together, Here Comes the Sun, and hundreds of others. These aren't just songs. They're cultural treasures that will be played for hundreds of years to come. Every generation discovers the Beatles all over again. Your parents love them. You love them. Your kids will love them. And every single time someone streams these songs or uses them in a movie or TV show, someone gets paid. And a big chunk of that money goes to Paul McCartney. Now let's talk about his solo career, because being a Beatle wasn't enough for this musical genius. After the Beatles broke up in 1970, many people thought Paul's career was over. They said he would never reach those heights again. But Paul proved everyone wrong in the most spectacular way possible. He formed a band called Wings and created hit after hit. Songs like Band on the Run, Live and Let Die, and Maybe I'm Amazed became instant classics. Paul showed the world that he didn't need the Beatles to be successful. He was a superstar all on his own. Throughout his solo career, Paul has released over 25 studio albums. That's more than 5 decades of making music that people love. Even today, in his 80s, Paul is still touring, still performing, still creating new music. His concerts sell out in minutes. People pay hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars just to see him perform live. And why wouldn't they? Getting to see a living legend, someone who walked with John Lennon, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr, someone who literally changed music forever, that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Speaking of concerts, let's talk about how much money Paul makes from touring. When Paul goes on tour, it's not just a concert, it's an event. A single tour can earn him over $100 million. 2. You're $100 million. Think about that for a second. Most people work their entire lives and never come close to making even $1 million. Paul can make 100 times that in just a few months of touring, and he's been doing this for decades. But Paul's genius isn't just in making money, it's in keeping it and growing it. Many famous musicians end up broke because they spend everything they earn, or they let other people manage their money badly. But not Paul. He's always been smart with his finances. He invests wisely. He doesn't waste money on things that lose value. Instead, he puts his money into things that grow over time, like real estate, businesses, and of course, more music rights. Let's talk about Paul's real estate portfolio because it's absolutely stunning. The man owns properties all over the world. He has a beautiful home in London that's worth millions. He owns a massive estate in the English countryside where he can escape from the public eye and just relax. He has a home in New York City, one of the most expensive cities in the world. He owns property in Arizona in the United States, where the weather is perfect and the sunsets are incredible. And he has homes in other locations too, places where he can vacation with his family and enjoy the fruits of his labor. Each of these properties isn't just a place to live. They're investments. Real estate, especially in places like London and New York, only goes up in value over time. So while Paul is enjoying these beautiful homes, they're also making him even richer. That's the kind of smart thinking that separates wealthy people from super wealthy people. Paul understands that every dollar he spends should either bring him joy or make him more money, and ideally both. Now let's talk about Paul's family, because that's really what this story is about. Paul has been married 3 times. His first wife was Linda McCartney, and by all accounts, they had one of the most beautiful love stories in rock and roll history. Linda wasn't just Paul's wife, she was his best friend, his musical partner, and his rock. They were married for nearly 30 years until Linda tragically passed away from cancer in 1998. Paul was absolutely devastated. He loved Linda more than anything in the world, and losing her left a hole in his heart that would never fully heal. Paul and Linda had 4 children together, and Paul also adopted Linda's daughter from a previous relationship. So that's 5 kids total. And let me tell you, Paul has been an incredible father. Despite being one of the most famous people on the planet, he always made time for his children. He made sure they grew up with normal values, not spoiled by wealth and fame. He taught them the importance of hard work, kindness, and staying humble no matter how much success you achieve. After Linda passed away, Paul eventually found love again. He married Heather Mills in 2002, and they had a daughter together. Unfortunately, that marriage didn't work out, and they divorced in 2008. The divorce was messy and very public, and it cost Paul a lot of money. Heather received a settlement of around $50 million, which sounds like a lot, and it is. But for someone worth over $1 billion, it was just a small bump in the road. Paul moved on with grace and dignity. Then, in 2011, Paul married Nancy Shevell, and from everything we can see, they're very happy together. Nancy is a successful businesswoman in her own right, so she's not with Paul for his money. They seem to genuinely enjoy each other's company, and Paul has said in interviews that Nancy makes him very happy. After everything Paul has been through, the highs and the lows, it's beautiful to see him with someone who truly loves him for who he is. Now here's where the story gets really emotional. Paul's children and grandchildren know exactly how lucky they are. They understand that their father and grandfather has created something truly special, not just the music, but the financial security that comes with it. When they think about Paul's legacy, about everything he's built and everything he's leaving behind, it brings tears to their eyes. Not because they're greedy or focused on money, but because they understand the magnitude of what Paul has accomplished. Think about it from their perspective. Their dad, their grandfather, is a living legend. He's someone that billions of people around the world admire and love. He's created music that has touched hearts, changed lives, and brought joy to people in their darkest moments. And on top of all that, he's ensured that his family will be taken care of for generations to come. That's the kind of legacy that money can't buy, even though, ironically, Paul has plenty of money too. Paul has always been very private about his financial plans, but it's clear that he's thought carefully about what will happen to his fortune when he's gone. He's set up trusts and foundations to make sure his money is distributed wisely. He's donated millions to charity over the years, supporting causes he believes in, like animal rights, environmental protection, and music education. Paul understands that with great wealth comes great responsibility, and he's using his money to make the world a better place. His children have followed in his footsteps in many ways. Some of them are involved in music, others in fashion, photography, and activism. But all of them carry on Paul's values of hard work, creativity, and giving back to others. They're not just sitting around waiting to inherit money. They're building their own careers and making their own marks on the world. And that's something Paul is incredibly proud of. One of the most touching things about Paul's relationship with his family is how he's always kept them grounded. Despite having more money than most countries, Paul has always emphasized the importance of staying humble and remembering where you came from. He grew up in a working-class family in Liverpool, England. His childhood home was small and modest. His father was a musician who played in local bands, but they certainly weren't wealthy. Paul knows what it's like to struggle, to work hard for everything you have, and he's never forgotten those lessons. That's why when Paul's family thinks about his fortune, they don't just see dollar signs. They see a man who came from nothing and built an empire through talent, dedication, and an unwavering belief in himself. They see all the sacrifices he made, all the hours he spent writing songs, recording albums, and performing for crowds. They see a man who could have retired decades ago, but chose to keep working because he genuinely loves what he does. The tears that Paul's family cries are tears of gratitude and amazement. They're grateful for the opportunities his success has given them. They're amazed at what one person can accomplish with passion and perseverance. And they're incredibly proud to be part of his legacy. When Paul eventually passes away, and we hope that's many, many years from now, he'll leave behind more than just money. He'll leave behind a treasure trove of music that will live forever. Memories. So yes, Paul McCartney is leaving behind a fortune that makes his family cry. But it's not just about the $1 billion in the bank. It's about everything that money represents. The hard work, the talent, the smart choices, the love of family, the passion for music, the humility despite massive success. When you put it all together, you get a story that's more than just impressive. It's truly inspiring. Paul McCartney's journey from a working-class kid in Liverpool to one of the wealthiest and most beloved musicians in history is a testament to what's possible when you combine natural talent with determination and smart thinking. His family understands this better than anyone. They've watched him navigate the ups and downs of life with grace. They've seen him handle fame without letting it change who he is at his core. They've witnessed his generosity, his kindness, and his unwavering commitment to the people he loves. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through Paul McCartney's life and fortune. This story isn't just about money, it's about legacy, family, love, and the power of never giving up on your dreams. Paul McCartney has shown us that it's possible to achieve the impossible, and his family's emotional response to his success is a reminder of what really matters in life. If this video inspired you, moved you, or taught you something new, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit that like button right now. It helps more people discover stories like this one. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible story. Share this video with your friends and family, especially anyone who loves music or needs a reminder that dreams really can come true. Drop a comment below and let me know what you think about Paul McCartney's incredible journey. What's your favorite Beatles song? What do you admire most about Paul? I read every single comment and I love hearing from you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.